All right, people, please bear with me. Watch this video until the end because they want us to just forget about it, accept it as the new norm, roll over, move on with the new reality and get on with our lives. But obviously, we can't accept that because some of us are old enough to remember the good old days. Especially me, someone who grew up in a third world country in Pakistan. I grew up hearing examples of the Western justice system. How did we go from the examples that I used to hear to what we are seeing today? Obviously, we are being ruled by a tiny group of people who are very ideologically dogmatic and very committed. And in pursuit of their ideological utopia, they are sacrificing one of the most fundamental values of Western civilization, i.e. the rule of law. I'm going to show you examples from all over the Western world, from the US, from obviously Europe, the UK, and Australia. And they hate our intelligence and they hate us and probably take us for such fools that they don't even try to change their tactics. They are repeating it in plain sight. But before I show you those examples, let me play you this video clip of Tony Blair, who is a former UK Prime Minister. And a lot of people in the UK blame him because a lot of these things that we see, he is a key player in the destruction of Western society. And obviously it is playing out in the UK more than any other Anglosphere countries, but it is happening all over the Western world, make no doubts. A lot of people say that it was his premiership under which we moved from Thatcherite conservative politics to Blairite global one world open border policy. Watch him. We don't even have to concoct a conspiracy theory. Just listen from the horse's own mouth.
And I think in a way, for a country like Britain, whose future has got to be as a nation of global citizens, not just British citizens, then I think interfaith in this context is incredibly important because you cannot be a global citizen and be religiously illiterate.
Yeah. So in pursuit of that, global citizenry, make UK the world capital, and we have seen the UK. A key ingredient for them to make it a harmonious, borderless, non-British society or non-Western society, we're going to have to make some compromises. And that's why they kept gaslighting us by saying, oh, don't be racist, don't be a bigot. If a third worlder is behaving like a third worlder, is because of intergenerational trauma, is because of colonialism, is because of how the Europeans exploited them. That's why they're acting out. They didn't have the same path to civilization as Western Europeans did. So, just stay with us because eventually they will become your equals. Eventually, when they have treated them as equals, they will start acting more responsibly. So until that happens, if they rape your women, if they stab your men, then just ignore it. We are in that phase right now. The UK and Europe has been going through that phase for a while. It's starting to happen in America. Let me just share with you some fresh examples, okay? I covered this news story of this guy. This guy was a Swedish father. He was in a football zone and he was watching a football match where he was murdered by this guy. Now we know who this guy is. He is an illegal migrant from Africa. He was charged with rape in 2013, 7 years for attempted murder in 2017, charged with assault in April 2026. He wasn't stopped. He wasn't deported. What happened to common sense? What happened to putting your people first? Look at this guy. This guy's name is Jibrail Abdul Rahman. He's 19 years old. He's being carted away here. He's been carted away from his accommodation by these coppers. He had prior convictions, prior accusations, but nothing was done until he raped a child. He's a Sudanese migrant. And he was released on bail. Even after raping a child, he was released on bail. There's so much compassion for these people. Look at him.
For the sentencing guidelines. And then the cops just come out and protect him while they get... Beast now!
He should have been in prison, but he was still allowed to live in his government-funded accommodation. He's being taken to court to face his charges. I haven't even say, and it's happening in Australia. It's happening in Australia. Listen to this. A former judge has already told us that they were given training by the Labor government where they were told that if someone is from a foreign background, then, and if you sentence them for longer than a year, then we will have to deport them. So try not to sentence them longer than a year. Just keep it under a year. So the result of that is this guy, he abused a schoolgirl and walked free from court. He's a 29-year-old Iraqi refugee, lured a 14-year-old girl with a vape and abused her at a lookout while on bail. The rape charge was dropped. Actually, he was originally charged with rape. Judge Deborah Richards, she's a woman. How did these women go from believe every woman, men are the problem, men are behind all evil in the world, to look at him, he's actually so white. I don't know why he didn't treat him like a white man, but no, he's Iraqi. So the rape charge was dropped and the judge, Deborah Richards, suspended his whole sentence over his deportation risk. No jail. And listen to this, and look at this guy. This is Tony Burke. You know what? He can still cancel his visa and deport him. But no, he also doesn't want to do it because, remember what Tony Blair said? They're trying to create a borderless world with global citizens from all over the world. They think that they can bring in all these people and it's a multi-generational project for them because eventually 2 or 3 generations later, we will all live in harmony together in a socialist utopia. Let me play you. Is this Tony?
If you look at comments that Angus Taylor has made, things like wanting to claim that someone is less worthy if they don't come from a liberal democracy, and you think of people who came from post.
They always give you examples of other civilized countries like Eastern Europe or Japan or South Korea. But he's trying to rebuke Angus Taylor, who's our opposition leader, his comments that people who come from non-Western countries or non-democratic or liberal democracies, they shouldn't be let in because they bring in their archaic values. But Tony Blair doesn't believe in that. He agrees with Tony Blair. One world, no borders, multiculturalism. Do you want more evidence? Look at him. Listen to him here again.
The concept of immigration is people, when they come to Australia, want to be part of Australia. That's what people want. And I've never accepted the word assimilation. I don't want people to lose who they are. The word integration is one that's been used as part of a multicultural dialogue for a very long time. And that's what it is. Like, we want people for who they are. I've never subscribed to that sort of melting pot concept that your whole identity is meant to be dissolved.
There you go. You're listening from their own mouths. They have a multi-generational, anti-Western civilizationist agenda. They want to create a borderless world, a socialist communist utopia where all people will live equally. That's what they believe in. They are very dogmatic, guys. You got to give it to them. But it's playing out in the streets. Look at this. Look at this. This was unthinkable 20 years ago. This guy, Mr. Peng, moved to Australia in 2011 and was in the process of finalizing his application for Australian citizenship with a test booked in for later this month. This guy is accused of people smuggling into Australia. People smuggler last week. He has broken every immigration law of Australia and he is still going to sit a citizenship test and he's going to be an Australian. You know why? Because cultures don't matter. We gotta create a one multicultural world. We don't care about law and order. We don't care about their disrespect for Western law. And look at this. It's like, you can't really make this up. The same thing is happening in the UK. Look at this guy. This guy is a convicted people smuggler in France, and he's applying for asylum in the UK. See that? People smugglers are getting citizenships in Australia. People smugglers are getting asylum in the UK, and they're just doing that in plain sight.
Have you told the Home Office that you're a convicted people smuggler?
I never did that.
You never did people smuggling?
Yep.
The courts in France estimate you were the most prolific people smuggler they'd come across.
Okay.
You earned more than £1 million.
What's the proof?
yourself.
What's the proof?
When they arrested you in France,
Why are they
police
searching for me for?
police were injured in the arrest, and now you're in Britain. Why are you claiming asylum? Why do you want to be in Britain?
I've been here for a long, long time.
Yeah, why? Why do you want to be in this country?
Because I was not safe at my country, and then I came to this country.
Right, but you came to this country via
Look, see that? I was not safe in my country. That's why I came here. They know it. They know the spiel.
France, where you spent years people smuggling. You led one of the biggest people smuggling networks. We know your past. We know your past.
Well, if you know that, there was just 1 second. I'll be back.
Well, no,
to you guys.
no, I want to talk to you. We've waited a long time to talk to you.
Okay.
We've seen you driving around in this country in a car. Tell me what license you've got. What valid
for what?
For driving around in this country in a.
I'm not driving.
We've got photograph evidence and video evidence of you driving.
Gross. For what?
Anyway, you get the point. But I haven't even shown you the most shocking of examples on this issue. This happened in America, okay? This happened in America. These guys are so blinded by their ideological dogma. They are so callous and heartless. I watched a little bit of this video, and then I thought I'll give you my live reaction to it. And I want to see your reaction in the comments, okay?
Clip, go forward. This is the exchange. Go ahead.
Unfortunately, it's the fourth time in this committee that we've had a hearing on sanctuary cities. There's many other things that we could be doing other than this. I'm so upset when you...
Sanctuary cities, see? Ideological dogma. They don't care about the rule of law. They don't care about the locals. They don't care about the natives. They care about their ideological dogma because in their minds, now the most sacred thing for them to do is to create sanctuary cities and have illegal migrants come in. Again, tying it back to their one world, borderless global citizen agenda. Because in order to implement that, they have to just ignore everything else. They have to ignore free speech. They're doing that in Britain very easily. They have to ignore the rule of law. They even have to compromise on their democracy. These people, these far left wokey lunatics all across the Western world, they are the most anti-democratic people. The Democrats, shame on them. They literally, their name says Democrats, but they're anything but. And look at the callousness of that. And watch this woman's reaction. I just wanted to say that because there's another video of another father very similar to that. I couldn't find that video, but watch this.
I'm so upset when with your butts, and you don't want to talk about this. This is the fourth hearing. Do you know what I'm thankful for? And this is so messed up. I'm going to say I'm thankful after hearing. I didn't even know what an angel family was. Had no idea. Never even heard about it. There's so many out here. You know what I'm thankful for?
It's crazy, Pat.
I'm thankful that my daughter was just shot in the back of the head, not raped, murdered, dismembered, put in a garbage can like Megan Boss with bleach poured on her, and they didn't fight her for 50 days. And you can actually dismiss the angel families. You can say, but you don't want to hear four sessions on angel families. I'm sorry, you need to. You need to. I'm actually thankful that my daughter wasn't raped. How messed up is that? That I'm thankful every day that she was just murdered, not raped and dismembered. Like, think about that. Like, how messed up is that? Do you know what I thought of this morning when I got up? What the joy of, anyone have a baby here? The joy of picking out their first outfit that they're going to wear on their ride home from the hospital. I had to pick out my daughter's last outfit, and she was a fabulous dresser. We had 100 people come to our home. 100 friends and family came to her home.
That's somebody crying in the back, by the way.
Cremated, actually, after. And they all decorated her urn with rhinestones. All of them put it on there. She is fabulous, even in death. But the first time, all the excitement of having a child and then having people make excuses and buts. I'm sorry.
No buts.
This is unacceptable. There are so many angel families out here. And the day that I have to wake up and be thankful that my daughter was only shot and not raped,
that's probably her mom crying.
Should tell you something. It's crazy.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, the Democratic Party just in front of your face. Pissed off, Pat, inconvenience that this is the fourth, not the 20th, not the 50th, not the 100th. The fourth time that they're having this type of meeting so that mothers of girls that were raped, murdered, dismembered, bleach poured on them, that it's an inconvenience that they're even speaking to them.
Yeah, we don't have time for this bullshit. Come on, bring something new to us. What is it? Another sanctuary city issue, whatever, criminals getting off lightly? Get over it. Your kid got murdered. Oh, you are. I'm shocked. I'm surprised she didn't say, oh, okay, good. You know, like she didn't get dismembered. One more video. This is that video of the father. This is just as harrowing and heartbreaking. So what happened? As I said, I grew up. I'll tell you before I play you this video. When I was growing up as a boy in Pakistan, these kind of things you expect in third world countries like Pakistan, for example. I remember there was a woman, she was gang raped, and she went to the police, and then the police officers gang raped her. She came out running with her clothes torn off, and she was hysterical, and she was saying this. She told the whole story. And nobody paid any attention. Nobody cared. Yeah, the public cared, but nobody cared. Nobody else, people with power did not care. And the issue just disappeared, gone. So Imran Khan, who is a former prime minister, but before that, he was always a cricket legend, an icon, probably the only good thing that has come out of Pakistan, who's also, by the way, is rotting in prison, probably going to die there because, unlike me, he loved Pakistan. He wanted to fix Pakistan. So he used to give us these examples. So he used to tell us that, oh, something like this, if anything remotely close to this had happened in the UK or in America, heads will roll. So I developed this romanticism of Western justice, that's how it should be. That's how your bureaucracy and your civil service and your judges and your politicians should behave. So I had that romanticized view of that. And don't get me wrong, when I first came to Australia, I saw it firsthand. But look what we're seeing right now, guys. Look what we're seeing. It is anything but that. But why is that? That's the question. How did the West go from ruthless application of the law? We used to hear these examples. A Dutch prime minister's son got a traffic penalty or a penalty ticket, or someone got arrested. Doesn't matter how influential his father was. We used to hear those examples. But look at this. What Western civilization is reduced to now because of the woke ideological dogma. White people are not immune from doing stupid things. It's not people, it's not the race, it's values, ideologies. And if it ain't broken, don't fix it. It wasn't broken. Western civilization wasn't broken. It was working. Things were working. What's that famous quote attributed to Churchill? Whether it's true or not, I don't know, but I understand its moral value. When during World War II, during the Blitz, Churchill was asked by a journalist, is the country still functioning? And then he asked a question, are our courts delivering justice? And then people said yes. And then he said, our country is working. Such is the importance of the rule of law. Such was the emphasis on to this. And again, this is America. I know America's different too, but we're seeing the same pattern all over the Western world. Now watch this if you have a heart.
How many of y'all have kids? I'm just curious. Here's what I need you to do. When I tell you this story, think about your kids. Think about your child coming home from a night out with their friends, laying down, going to sleep, feeling somebody come in the room and wake them and drag her out of bed, naked, forced on her knees, with her hands over her head, begging for her life, begging for her hero, her father, me. That couldn't be there. She was 5'3". She weighed 115 pounds. Bang! Dead. Gone. Why? Because Alexander Devontae Dickey, who was arrested 39 goddamn times.
I know he's an American. It's not an illegal migrant, but it's the same logic. Black criminals are being released. They're not being treated according to the law.
25 felonies was on the street.
Why?
How about that? How good are we doing for our family? How good are you doing for your kids? He should have been in jail for over 140 years for all the crimes he committed. You know how much time he spent in prison? A little over 600 days in 10 years. He's only 30 years old. He was committing 2.65 crimes a year since he was 15 years old, but nobody could figure out that he couldn't be rehabilitated. Well, you'd have to put him in prison. to see if he could be rehabilitated. Isn't that the idea of prison?
No, I'm done with even this argument of rehabilitation. They actually don't even present that argument anymore because they're not even giving custodial sentences to rapists and pedophiles. They're not even doing that anymore because that used to be the idea. Hey, the purpose is not to punish the perpetrator. The purpose is to rehabilitate them. How do you rehabilitate someone who's taken someone's life, who should be alive right now, but no longer? Where is the rehabilitation for that person? So I don't even care. And this is why they are actually making all of us radicals. They're taking us a century back because, medieval problems require medieval solutions. This barbarism requires barbaric punishments. That's exactly what's going to happen eventually. This experiment that Tony Blair was telling you about of, intergenerational trauma, global citizens, everyone living in a utopia, that is not working. It is not going to work because it ignores fundamental biological realities. People are different. People's behaviors are shaped by their cultural upbringings, cultures that have stood firm for thousands of years. Cultures do not disappear. People don't leave their cultural practices and beliefs and ideologies at the airport when they come to a completely foreign country. It doesn't happen. It's not going to happen. What is going to happen, you are awakening the instinct of self-preservation of ordinary Westerners. They're also going to say, well, we're done getting stabbed. Finish this video first.
But no, my daughter wanted to be a teacher. She finally figured it out 2 weeks before she was executed. And I haven't heard a damn word from Byron Gibson in South Carolina. Not one word. 4 months, no communication. His biggest concern was that he was pissed off about my interview and how I made him look on the Fox News channel with Trey Gowdy.
Wow.
How pathetic is that? That we're letting our 22-year-old kid visiting friends. It's all she ever wanted to do was visit friends. And she literally was executed while on her knees begging for her life. Her name's Logan Federico, not Irina. And you will not forget her. I promise you. You will be sick and tired of my face and my voice until this gets fixed. I will fight until my last breath for my daughter. You need to fight for the rest of our children, the rest of the innocents, and stop protecting the people that keep taking them from us. Please. You have the power. We put you in the power to do what you have to do. We're asking you, we're begging you all to stop this. 39 crimes in 10 years, 25 felonies. Can anybody here explain to me, well, how possibly he could be on the street? Possibly be on the street. How is it possible? I could sit down in a room and I could explain the whole process of how it failed, how South Carolina failed, Logan, okay? How lack of communication. What y'all did, you woke up a beast and you pissed off the wrong daddy. Because I'm going to put it out there, and I'm not going to be quiet until somebody helps. Logan deserves to be heard. Everyone on this panel deserves to be heard. And we will.
This is shocking. Why? Oh, because they have generational trauma. That's why we have to be kinder to them. How many? How many? Look at this. This is just a fresh video, okay? I didn't plan this. It just came up in my feed. A 16-year-old boy who left a 68-year-old woman with severe injuries outside a church had been arrested and released 9 times before. Irina's murderer had been arrested and released dozens of times before. So many of these people, they literally keep releasing them as though they are waiting for them to just run into some random person and get butchered. I'm going to play you this video. Look at this. He just approaches this woman outside a church. I've seen a lot of these videos, and I'm going to say something probably is inconvenient or probably not easy to say. You know how we see that the grooming gangs in the UK always targeted non-Muslim girls, with a few exceptions. Maybe there are a couple, I don't know, tens of hundreds, if not If you don't want to take the word of hundreds of thousands, and let's say tens of thousands of girls were mostly British, and a tiny minority were Hindus and Sikhs, and an even tinier minority was Muslim girls. I have seen, I'm not exaggerating, I have seen multiple hundreds of videos of black teenagers, black people just randomly killing people, assaulting them, to the beating them up, black and blue, to the point of near death. Some actually do die, but it's always, again, the targeting random white people. I know there's black on black crime, which is the most prevalent crime. What is this? Like he just randomly runs up to her and he just beats her mercilessly. Look, just beats her mercilessly. Nothing, no questions asked, no nothing. Gone. Oh, just want to show you this. So the left is putting out this video. Look, to be honest, I don't know who these guys are. So apparently they're white supremacists who are just patrolling the streets somewhere in America. And they're showing the brave face of this black woman who's surrounded by these masked white supremacists. Again, I don't know about these people. I don't know whether they're white supremacists. I'm not promoting them, but I'm not condemning them either because I don't know. Look at this. Look at this. She's sitting there and they're like, oh, look at this. She's so brave. What's so brave about it? They are not even harassing her. They're not even looking at her. Roles reversed. Look at this. What happened to Irina? There are so many random videos of black people just beating random white strangers. There was one video very recently I saw a white girl just sitting all alone in a train in the corner. A black man walks up to her, starts just beating her up like he was so much. Again, I can't play you those videos. But when you look into their record, released, they have committed all kinds of horrible crimes, but they're released. Why are they walking the streets? This doesn't work. This suicidal empathy, compassion, because the ancestors of these people had enslaved them or butchered them or were unkind to them. Therefore, somehow we need to be kind to criminals. Like, it doesn't make any sense. How does that make sense? It makes sense to them because they are driven by their woke dogma, and they're never going to achieve their utopia because utopias are not real. But in the process, they are going to radicalize us who don't subscribe to their communist woke utopia, and they're making us more radical. I am all for capital punishment. I am. 5 years ago, you'd ask me, I'd say, no, that's so barbaric. No, we've gone past that. Oh, no, not anymore. I want capital punishment for all murderers. I want it. Pedophiles, I want it. Rapists, I want it. Also, people who cause significant injury where people, and I've seen hundreds of those videos. There was a video that I saw of a young woman somewhere in Norway, I think it was. Young woman, 22-year-old, beautiful young woman, professional working woman, randomly beaten up by an illegal migrant. And now she's being fed through a tube in a vegetable state for life. Yeah, put him. Death sentence. And not that kind one where you just get where you get put to sleep, lethal injection. No, I want I don't know, hardcore punishment where they act as a deterrent. And look, if these people were serious about achieving the multicultural utopia, at least learn from Dubai or Saudi Arabia. These same people, they go there, they don't dare to even spit on the street. You know why? Because they have a very robust deportation policy, but before deporting you, they have a very strict criminal code and very nasty jails, very ugly jails. Sometimes I feel bad for British tourists who get done just because they trace some cocaine on the sole of their shoe and then they go to prison for 20 years. I feel bad. But I say, well, you know what? Don't go to those countries. But I'm in no place to criticize them for the application of their hardcore laws. Maybe the West can learn something from them, but I don't think so. I think this is going to keep getting uglier and uglier.